Hi everyone. We will start in a few minutes while everyone is joining in. So, okay, so everyone, while other participants are joining in, let us ask you a question. So, Bhavya will now ask you a question and you can just drop your responses in the chat box.
Hi everyone. We have certain questions till the time we begin. So, what do you think are the specific skills or areas of interview preparation which you feel that you will improve during the session? You can write your answers in the chat box.
Like, what are the areas of skills where which you are hoping to improve during the session? You can drop your response in the chat box.
We have some answers: confidence building, structured responses, accuracy, strategy, communication skills, curated answers, presentation skills.
I would request everyone to turn your cameras on so that the session is more interactive. And while you're answering, we will start introducing the session today. So, do you know, according to the surveys, a candidate only has 7 seconds to make the first impression during a job interview? Yes, you heard it right. Only 7 seconds. So, good evening, everyone. Welcome to day three of this incredible placement preparation bootcamp, Aged and Place 2.0, organized by Hindu Consulting Group, the student-run Society of Hindu College, University of Delhi. We hope the past two sessions have provided you with valuable insights and knowledge. We are set to embark on a thrilling journey into the realm of corporate interviews. Interviews play a pivotal role in the recruitment process. They not only test your knowledge, but also evaluate your dedication, commitment, and sincerity.
Absolutely, Sejal. We understand that interviews can be quite challenging, especially
Okay, I think Bhavya is experiencing some internet issues, so I'll continue. So we understand that interviews can be quite challenging, especially when you're faced with questions like "Tell us something about yourself," which is not there in your resume. Such questions can leave even the most prepared candidates puzzled and unsure about how to respond. So let us take a minute to brainstorm what are the key points which need to be taken care of during interviews. So let us know by posting your answers in the chat box. I'll repeat the question again. What are the key points that you think need to be taken care of during interviews? Come on, guys. We would love to hear from you, your experiences and answers. So let us know. Where you present yourself. That is correct. Confidence, okay. Strength, experiences, highlighting your skills. That is very much correct. How you converse, how you put forward your achievements. All right. So we see a lot of brilliant answers coming up. You guys have been amazing. We also acknowledge all the concerns here. So we understand that the race to answer the best can leave us doomed while presenting ourselves. Indeed, we are all in the same boat. Now, Bhavya can take over from here.
Oh, but don't worry, we have this amazing session to help you out. Today, we are privileged to have Mr. Satyam Khandelwal as our speaker. He's a career growth expert who has mentored thousands of students and early stage professionals, helping them identify their passions and aligning them with their careers. He has successfully conducted webinars at esteemed institutions such as IIT Chennai, IIM Raipur, FMS Delhi, IBS Hyderabad, and many, many more.
Indeed, Bhavya, Satyam's vast experience and insights in the field of career growth will undoubtedly provide us with valuable guidance on how to tackle these challenging interview questions. Meanwhile, we encourage everyone to participate as it will make our discussion even more enriching and engaging. So feel free to share your experiences or ask any questions you may have about interview preparation. Let's dive into our interactive session and learn from our esteemed speaker. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Sejal. Thank you, Bhavya. Thank you for the invite and a very generous introduction. Uh, do you want to record the session before it starts?
So it's streaming live on YouTube. So it
So
will
it is
be.
streaming live on YouTube.
Yes,
Perfect.
yes.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Okay, so I am Satyam Khandelwal, as very generously introduced by your host, and I am so excited to be here with you, to interact with you. I am sitting here in my home office at a place called Raipur in central India. And that also, having said that, I work remotely. I coach students, working professionals, early stage working professionals, mostly from the uh, luxury of place freedom. So that is what I do. Now, I have been told that I am dealing with a crowd here, which is about to go for campus placements, either in this session or maybe in the upcoming sessions. Doesn't matter much because I do not believe in preparing when the placement season is on your head. You should be well prepared any day of your life because I recently met, in fact, yesterday I met a guy who is in the first year of in the second year of his degree, and he was looking for some guidance to prepare for an interview for an SEO firm, which he cracked today, and his package was around 17 LPA for a part-time job. So this is what is happening in today's era of digital conversions, digital campaigns. That is why I believe all of you should also be prepared any day and every day, right? Having said that, before I start, I would really like to know from all of you the basics of let's set the basics right for a video based session. Am I audible to you, and am I
Yes.
visible to you?
Yes, yes, you are.
Please, can you type loud and clear in the chat box? Loud and clear in the chat box, everybody, if I am visible and audible to you. Loud and clear. Okay, perfect. I have a few louds and clears, so that means that I am audible. Perfect. Now, before we get into this session, let's lay down a few ground rules that I follow with my students, with my audience. Can I share my screen?
Yes, yes, definitely.
Perfect. So the golden rules for today's session. Again, is my screen visible?
Yes.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Perfect. Rule number one, you would have heard a lot of times from a lot of people that time is our biggest asset, which is not true, which is a myth. Time is not your biggest asset. अगर टाइम सबसे बड़ा एसेट होता तो all of us would have been on the same plane when it came to wealth, right? Because all of us have 24 hours in a day, but not all of us are making efficient utilization. And that's why our biggest asset moves from time to focus. Focus is our biggest asset, right? If for the next 45 minutes we are together, I think around 90 people are together for the next 45 minutes. But I'm 100% sure not all of us will take the exact same value out of the session, right? Some would take maximum value, some would take decent value, some might not take any significant value from the session, and the entire difference will be because of the quantum of focus, right? So please, if you all have decided to invest next 45 minutes in this session, I would rather ask you to level up and invest your focus more than time, right? Which means that if you have your notifications on, if you have other tabs on, if you have your mobile phones on non-silent mode, please arrange everything in your surroundings to be present in this session with 101% focus, right? Which brings me to my second rule, which is one good statement that you note can end up changing the entire framework of your career and life. This has happened with me. This has happened my students through me. I would be speaking a lot of things. We would be interacting a lot in this session. One or two good statements that you take with you that gets reminded to your mind when you are sitting in the interview will end up deciding the course of your career. This happens. This has happened with me as well. Which means that you must sit with a pen and a notepad or any other way you would like to note things, but note whatever you feel is important. Sometimes I would reiterate a few important points which you would like to note. Sometimes you would feel this is important and you would note. Please note down. The bridge between listening and implementing is writing things down. Writing is the way to memorization, writing is the way to recollection, writing is the way to manifestation. If some of you know what manifestation is, right? Write down the important points that will bridge the listening part and the implementation part. And you don't have to worry about ki yaad rahega ki nahi, implement karta hi. Just write it down, whatever you feel is important, right? And that's my third rule, that a session is worth it only when it is implemented, which means that I'm not going to speak on theories, I'm not going to speak on concepts, of course some concepts, but the application of those concepts, right? So that you can actually implement. My ultimate rule is that if you have an interview at 6:30 today, you should be able to crack it, right? That is the point of this session. Perfect. Now, whenever I start a session, I ensure that there are two things which are very clear to the audience. Number one is utility of the session. Number two is credibility of the speaker, right? Number one is utility of the session. Utility of the session, why? Because if you have decided to invest your time and focus for this session, you should know what benefit it is bringing to you. I think Sejal and Bhavya have together spoken a lot about what would happen in this session. I have also touched base on those points. If you are a student who is looking to apply for internships and crack those interviews, the good internships, if you're a student who is looking to apply for jobs in your campus placements, off-campus jobs, anything, this session is for you, right? Interviews for internships, jobs, or even if you are a startup looking for investment, this might also help you out because those are also interviews, nothing else. right? So if you are any one of these audiences, then this session is for you. It's a highly value packed session. Number two, credibility of the speaker. Not because I want to brag about myself. There is a major reason why I want to go through you to go through these points. These sessions are a big opportunity for you guys, as they were for us a few years back, for networking, for establishing a connect. I'm sitting here because I was invited by your student reps to conduct a session on interviews. But there might be some other areas where you need help, and you might want to approach me later for those areas. What those areas could be, you would only understand when you go through these points, right? Where all I can help you, if not myself, maybe through my connections, is where. So I consider these sessions, the utility of the sessions beyond the theme of the session, which is interview today, of course, 100% value pack. But then beyond this, if you want to utilize this session, if you want to utilize my presence, then this is what you should do. I'm an alumni of Symbiosis Pune and IIT Ghaziabad. I did my BBA from Symbiosis in 2007-10 batch. Then I moved up the ladder. I had two options. One was to go for campus placement. I was selected for PwC and KPMG. But I also applied for CAT. CAT, you would know, even today CAT happens for MBA places. I ended up scoring a decent percentile in CAT, and I got into a decent B school, which is somewhere near your campus, I believe, IIT Ghaziabad. And I passed out from IIT Ghaziabad in 2012 when I was 22 years of age, and I ended up scoring a decent package, but it's a good B school, and I ended up scoring, more important, a good FMCG company, which was my dream, to get into consumer goods, fast moving consumer goods. I mean, fast forward from there, 6 years down the line, I rose up to the designation of head of the division within 6 years. So by 2018-19, I was divisional head. Since 2016, I started alongside my job guiding students, giving guest lectures, visiting institutes, IITs, to tell students how can they actually enter the corporates and grow really fast, grow mindfully in the careers of their choice while they're in the corporates. This is what happened since 2018, 2016. 2018-19, I entered full-time into career coaching, and this is what I do now. I also consult B2B, I consult a few companies, but mostly around career growth and employability. Interviews, resume building is a big part of that. I'm also a designated mentor of change by Niti Aayog, which is an initiative under Atal Innovation Mission. So this is what I wanted you guys to know about me. The best way to connect with me is LinkedIn. The best way to learn from my content is Instagram, but let's keep it for the end of the session. I'll tell you where you can learn the most. I told you, so credibility of the speaker, utility of the session. Utility of the session, interviews for internships, interviews for campus placements, and interviews for campus jobs, off-campus jobs. Up till here, if you are with me, please type with you in the chat box. If you guys are with me up till here, please type with you on the chat box. Thank you, Sanya, Nitin, Sejal, Karthike, Harsh, Vrinda, Aman. Thank you so much. Okay. I learned, like, I had a very good majors during my MBA, which was marketing, right? Though the term is really overused, but somebody who has understood marketing, how it starts, what is the crux of it, I believe understand the crux of everything in this world, right? Because whether you are delivering a session, whether you are appearing for an interview, whether you are presenting a project in your classroom or your office, ultimately you're doing marketing of some sort. It's nothing, it's just marketing is all about delivering or communicating value to your customers, right? Some value to your customers. Sometimes your customers are people who purchase from you, but sometimes your customers could be recruiters. Sometimes your customers could be interviewers, right? Sometimes your customers could be your faculty who is evaluating the project. Ultimately, you have to communicate and deliver some value to them. And during interviews, you are actually marketing yourself to your customer who is the interviewer. So more you think from the mindset of delivering some value or creating some value for the interviewer, you would get much further to success, towards success. And within marketing, the one important thing that we were told to focus on was to understand or decode the consumer's mindset. Because until unless you decode the consumer's mindset, you won't be able to market yourself. Maybe he needs A, you're selling him B. Maybe he needs bananas, but you are an orange seller, so you keep on selling oranges, and then you say, I made a lot of efforts, but he's not buying. Right? So it's very important to understand the consumer's mindset. In this case, who is the consumer? Can you type in the chat box? Who is our consumer? Who is our customer in this case? Perfect. Yes, very nice, Sejal, Nitin, Tanzeel, Mansi. Our customer here is interviewer or the recruiter. So it's important to decode his or her mindset first. So let's bring to the screen 3 secrets that I want you to understand to decode the interviewer's mindset. If you remember this, then the entire preparation, your approach towards the preparation for interview would change. And I've picked these secrets specifically from the point of view of interviews that undergrads would appear for. So, of course, undergrads, postgrads, consulting firms, consumer goods firms, business consulting, business processes. These are the secrets to decode interviewers' mindset in these industries and companies. Right? Should I bring the secrets on? Please type BIO in the chat box. BIO is bring it on. Should I bring the first secret on? Perfect. Here is the first secret. How am I able to say this? During my campus placements, UG and PG combined, I gave around 40 plus interviews. Post that, I gave around 20 plus interviews again, like when I was in my job. And then beyond that, I had the opportunities of recruiting for reputed firms. So I also recruited, so I interviewed candidates to take them, to onboard them, because I also ran a recruitment. I worked for a recruitment consultancy for part-time. So on collecting all these experiences, the first secret that I have analyzed is that interview is a selection test, not a rejection test. How would you understand that? In your college, when you were seeking admissions, did interview happen or did it didn't happen? Yes or no? Interview happened when you were entering your college for admissions? Yes or no? Yes or no? Did interviews happen? No. Perfect. So maybe your percentage were the selection criteria, percentage in class 12 or your entrance scores, right? These are rejection tests. Somebody who is below this is out, somebody who is above this is in. All the college interviews, CAD, IIM interviews, IMT interviews are rejection tests. They're looking for reasons either to reject people or they're looking for a threshold. Somebody clears that threshold, he is in. Somebody does not clear the threshold, he's out. They're rejection tests. Interviews for jobs are selection tests. Why am I saying that? Suppose we had 2 positions empty, 2 positions vacant for a particular role or profile. We went to a college for an interview. I went to a campus for an interview. I found 4 or 5 people really good. Really good. We'll take 5. Doesn't matter. Companies are looking to invest in resources. If they actually find good resources, they will not leave them. Trust me. So you're not in a competition there. You might be in a competition during the GD because it's an elimination round, a rejection test, but not during the interview. So we'll touch upon GD later. But once you enter the interview, you are there for selection. Unless you give them some really big reason for rejecting you, They're not rejecting. They're sitting there. They're looking for reasons to select. So go in with that kind of mind frame. Okay. Secret number 2. Interviewers are not robots. They're not machines. They're not, what do we call them? ATS, application tracking software. They're not like, there's nothing fed into them. इसको select करना और इसको reject कर देना. They are humans. All humans look for interesting conversations. All humans look for interesting humans to interact with. More your conversations are around stories, more your conversations are interesting, more your conversations are live, more your conversations are of a sort that builds connect, you're more likely to get selected. Because trust me, who comes for the interview? The HR, one person from the HR, one person from the team for which you are being interviewed. Basically the manager of the team, जिसको आप लोग रिपोर्ट करोगे. अगर मैं रिक्रूट करने जा रहा हूँ अपनी टीम के लिए, बाकी सारी चीजें एक तरफ, मैं उसको रिक्रूट करूंगा जो मुझे सबसे इंटरेस्टिंग लगेगा बात करने. ऑफ कोर्स बेसिक स्किल्स सॉर्टेड. बिल्कुल ही कोई मतलब फनी होगा तो सिर्फ हंसने के लिए मैं उसको रिक्रूट नहीं करूंगा. पर अगर बेसिक स्किल्स सॉर्टेड है, आई विल रिक्रूट द पर्सन हु इज द मोस्ट इंटरेस्टिंग. Right, as a personality, as a person, as a human being, if he or she is interesting, I'll end up recruiting him because मुझे अपना काम भी देखना है, अपनी टीम का एटमॉस्फेयर भी देखना है, और मुझे ये भी देखना है भाई जिसके साथ दिन भर काम करना है वो पर्सनालिटी तो थोड़ी इंटरेस्टिंग होनी चाहिए. Right? That is secret number 2. Secret number 3. Personality more than knowledge is checked. Now, why am I saying this? इस पे बहुत सारे क्वेश्चंस उठ जाते हैं, बहुत बार क्वेश्चंस आ जाएंगे, राइट, कि भाई नॉलेज से ज्यादा पर्सनालिटी कैसे मैटर करेगी, हाउ इज दिस पॉसिबल. दिस इज द रियलिटी. एट अ लेवल वेयर बेसिक नॉलेज इज सॉर्टेड. बेसिक नॉलेज का मतलब है इफ यू नो, इफ यू आर अप्लाइंग फॉर कंसल्टिंग जॉब एंड इफ यू नो कि केस स्टडी क्या होती है, इफ यू नो कि केस स्टडी का अप्रोच क्या है सॉल्व करने का, राइट. Beyond that, the knowledge of industries, the knowledge about how much what industries have grown, किसकी कम है किसकी ज्यादा है, data points, a lot of those factors are good to know. But if you have a very dull personality, then all of this knowledge is of no use. Your personality has to come. अगर आपकी knowledge जितनी, it's a known fact, it's a believed fact that it can be acquired like this. Is Google in front of you? Not Google, now there is chat. जाओगे तो ऐसा टेस्ट हो जाएगा population क्या है real time, क्या हो जाएगा उससे. You can just immediately type it on Google. Even if it's a complex question, you can type it on ChatGPT and get the answer. So knowledge का कोई खास मतलब नहीं रहेगा. Knowledge of facts and figures doesn't matter much. But if you are given some facts and figures, अगर मैं अभी आपको कुछ पेपर पे लिख के दे दूंगा, these are the facts, these are the facts about the industry, these are the facts about my companies. Now you tell me what would be your next step. अब तो नॉलेज खत्म, नॉलेज तो पेपर पे है. अब आपकी पर्सनैलिटी सामने आ जाएगी. कितना नर्वस होते हो, कितना स्ट्रेस में आते हो, थॉट प्रोसेस क्या है, कितनी इंटरेस्टिंगली सोचते हो. That is what will count. And how you present your findings. Insights analysis तो कर लिया facts and figures. Now how you present it is what matters. That is what is personality. Don't confuse personality with how you look, how well you are groomed. That's a different thing. Personality here is how you come out as a person, as a professional, which is more about how you analyze things, how you present it. Till now, with these 3 secrets, if something has lightened up on your mind, please type bulb on in the chat box. Can you type bulb on in the chat box? If you think that something you have gained till now, bulb on. Perfect. Thank you so much. I have a message from Tanzil, went creative and sent the picture of bulb. Like, good thing, interesting. I'll remember your name. This is the way to go forward. Good one. Now I have a message from Sanya that you said your voice is breaking. Is my voice breaking still, or is it okay?
So it's fine now. It was breaking for a brief period.
Perfect. Okay. Perfect. Let's move ahead. Now, since we have understood the secret of the mind to decode the interviewer's mindset, let's move to the interview framework. कहाँ पे focus करना है? Which areas you should focus upon, right? So, two broad areas. Two broad areas when you're preparing for an interview. One is knowledge based. Second is presentation based. So, knowledge based, presentation based. टू ब्रॉड, इसके अलावा और कहीं पे प्रिपेयर नहीं करना है. नॉलेज बेस क्या है, प्रेजेंटेशन बेस क्या है. सो नॉलेज एंड पर्सनालिटी बोथ. नाउ नॉलेज बेस्ड, व्हाट इज नॉलेज? किस किस के बारे में नॉलेज होना चाहिए? नंबर वन, सेल्फ अवेयरनेस. द वन प्रिंसिपल वेयर मोस्ट ऑफ द कैंडिडेट्स गेट रिजेक्टेड, द वन प्रिंसिपल वेयर मोस्ट ऑफ द इंटरव्यू क्वेश्चंस are based on, whether it is introduce yourself, whether it is tell me something about yourself, whether it is describe yourself in 3 words, 1 word, 2 words, whatever, 3 strengths, 3 weaknesses, biggest achievement, 5 years down the line, whatever it is. They are questions around self-awareness. और भाई साहब बच्चे जो गूगल मार रहे हैं इन क्वेश्चंस में, you can get everything on Google, but how would you get knowledge about yourself on Google unless you create a Wikipedia page of yourself? Google cannot have information about yourself, right? Self-awareness is not about having a lot of strengths, having a lot of expertise. Self-awareness is about knowing yourself better. If there is one strength, if there are 2 skill sets that you have, रात को 3 बजे कोई उठा के बोलते ना भाई 2 स्किल सेट बता तेरे कौन से हैं, what are the skills that you should, it should be on the top of your mind, right? Whether they are soft skills or hard skills, like technical skills, right? How do you prepare for self? मैं बता रहा हूँ 80% इंटरव्यू यहाँ पे क्रैक होता है सेल्फ अवेयरनेस में, because I have not appeared at least for an interview जिसमें पहला question was not around self awareness. First question, introduce yourself, something that is not in their CV. How are you? Like 5 years down the line, everything is about what you want, who you are, what you want, right? Go through your resume, revisit what you have read. अगर resume देख के लग रहा है कि आपने सारी चीजें Google में देख के लिख ली है, revisit that. Self-awareness is not something, question about yourself or facts about you is not something that you should copy from Google. Right? There is of course a concept of keywords when we train people on resume, which is a different topic. Keywords हम लोग आते हैं job description से, but facts नहीं change करते. Right? So know about yourself, revisit your resume, write everything that actually resonates with you. ठीक है? Don't write anything which you thought would be a great word to use and you don't know the meaning, or you know the half of it, or you don't have any example to prove that you have that skill, whether soft or technical. It's okay to not know something, but not okay to not know something written on your resume. It's okay to not know a lot of things. Why would somebody be expected to know everything? That's fine. But if you have written it on your resume and you don't know about it, not done. Right? Interview में अगर वो आ गया तो that's, I mean, it's just like a no-go for them. Perfect. So think about yourself. Try and understand your strength areas. You note this down. Try and understand your weaknesses. Where you need it. All of us have weaknesses, right? 1 or 2. Try and understand where you need improvement. So strength areas, 3 good, weaknesses 2 good, interest areas. What are your professional interests beyond work? What are you interested in? But no interest areas, say what are you learning is also something that you must understand and know. Right? What are your future plans? 5 साल का नहीं सोचा है, कोई बात नहीं, वो पूछेंगे where do you see yourself 5 years from now? Not thought about 5 years, but I understand next what I want to do. In next 3 years where I want to reach. 3 साल का बताओ, 1 साल का बताओ, but जितना बताओ उतना resonate करना चाहिए with yourself, with your personality, right? This is one knowledge about yourself, big part of the interview, possibly the most critical part. Number 2 is background of company and role, which again a lot of people miss, especially in campus placements, because a standard resume goes. I'm not sure whether you're allowed to tweak your resume or not. In campus placements, you're not. Off campus, you should. But since you're not allowed to tweak your resume, it's very, very important to understand before any interview about the company as well as the role. क्या क्या पता करना important है? What is the financial standing of the company? कोई financial standing का मतलब ये नहीं कि आपको sales के figures पता होने चाहिए, exact dot कितनी revenue और कितना profit margin है, but an overall understanding. What is the size of the company you're sitting for? Size क्या company का? Market में वो कौन-कौन है? If you're sitting for let's say an e-commerce company, तो उसके competitors कौन-कौन है? उस company का size क्या है? What is the standing? Who is the leadership? Very, very important. Who is the leadership? Who leads? Who is the CEO or the MD or the founder? Right? Major brands and products or services. Any other recent important news that have come out of the company? बहुत मुश्किल नहीं है, एक क्लिक में गूगल पे मिल जाएगा. एंड ऐसा नहीं कि आपको सारी कंपनीज के बारे में रखना है, जिसका इंटरव्यू है उसके पहले इसको पढ़ना है. बिकॉज सिंपल रीजन है कि आप रेजोनेट कैसे करोगे, क्वेश्चन आ जाएगा व्हाई डू यू वांट टू जॉइन अस, तो ये तो बोलेगे नहीं ना, प्लेसमेंट वाले ऑप्शन नहीं देते, बोलते सारी कंपनी से बैठे. यू हैव टू टेल देम दैट you connect with them. There is something in the company that you like. Now that's something, you should know about that something, right? So once you research about these things, you will find things which you like. And there will be questions in the interview. ये भी क्वेश्चन आ सकता है लास्ट में, आ सकता है क्या आता है, डू यू हैव एनी क्वेश्चंस फॉर अस? क्या पूछोगे फिर? छुट्टी कितनी मिलती है, अर्न लीव कितनी है, सैटरडे संडे वर्किंग है क्या, 6 डे की 5 डे है, ये सब कौन करेगा? who has not attended this session or maybe attended but not with 100% focus. But don't ask these questions, generic questions. कितने दिन छुट्टी, कितनी छुट्टी, earn leave. Ask questions that are relevant. I recently read a news that the company was about to launch this new product. Is this product launched to target these kind of customers? Just an example. Your market share last year was 20%, risen to 25%. Was there a new launch? Was there a change in the strategy of the company that led to this rise? You understand the difference in quality. And if nothing else, I'm really, really intimidated by the personality of your CEO, Mr. XYZ. Is he an active part in the operations of the company? See, उसी से ये पता चल गया ना that you have come here for a reason, with a purpose, and not because your placement committee has pushed you. जाओ भाई इसका भी इंटरव्यू दो, right? This is why understanding about the company and the role is important. And if you have studied the role, if you get the JD, I'm sure you get the JD before every interview or before every process, you get the JD, right? At least that much good should happen. So once you get the JD, it's very important to read it for the simple reason. Put this in block letters, job description. After self-awareness, this is the most important document that you must go through. The recruiters are not hiring you because you're good. The recruiters would not hire you because you have XYZ skills or XYZ strengths. The recruiters will hire you because you can bring solutions to their problems. And where can you find their problems? Where have they listed their problems? Can I check in the chat box? Where are their problems listed? Can I know in the chat box? Where are recruiters' problems or companies' problems listed? Exactly. No annual reports, no newspaper analysis. Their problems are very directly listed in the JD. Of course, their problems are listed in newspapers, analysis, or whatever, but those are not the problems they're looking to solve through you. They are looking to solve a certain problem through you by hiring you. That problem is listed in the job description. It's not in the format of a problem. But जो रोल है उनके पास वो रोल किसी को हायर क्यों किया जाता है? बिकॉज कुछ गैप है, कोई काम है जो नहीं हो रहा है, and you are being looked upon to do that work, to solve that problem. So that problem is in the JD. JD में प्रॉब्लम रहेगी, JD में आपको पता चलेगा कि क्या स्किल सेट्स है जो रिक्वायर्ड है. अब भाई क्वेश्चन आ जाएगा कि सर तो जेडी में जो स्किल्स रिक्वायर है वही लिख दूं क्या मैं अपने रेज्यूमे? नहीं भाई, ऐसा नहीं कर सकते, रेज्यूमे तो पहले से चला गया है. बट जेडी में जो प्रॉब्लम्स है उसके लिए अगर कोई ऐसा बंदा है जिसको टीम वर्क अच्छे से आता है, who has leadership skills, who has good knowledge of Excel, who has given presentations, you highlight these facts during your introduction. When they're asking you what you like, what you dislike, what are your strength areas, you say presentation skills is my strength. Because in the JD, you remember it's written, because everybody presents, right? Or your college, your subjects will have presentation. Somebody who does not like presenting at all should not appear for that interview. Their presentation skill is required as a strength. Right? But how would you bring that up? Once you have read the JD. So background of the company is through Google, but background of the role is JD, which is highly targeted. Once you have read the JD, you are sorted from both sides of the coin, which is knowing yourself and knowing the problem. Somebody who knows himself and who knows the problems is the best fit to solve that problem. Because he knows his strength, what to use, he knows his weaknesses, what not to use, and he knows the problem. So you're the best place to crack that interview, right? If you can go one step further, if there are some seniors from your companies, from your college who have been recruited by that company, if there are some people who have worked in that company or are working in that company, try and speak to them. If the interview is really, really important to you, you go up to this level. Why? Because कुछ इंफॉर्मेशन तो बिल्कुल इंटरनल होती है जो किसी को नहीं मालूम, ना जेडी में लिखी ना किसी को पता है. कंपनी के कल्चर के बारे में, what kind of people they like, do they like serious kind of people, do they like very jolly kind of people, what is the culture of that company? That can come out through when you talk to those employees. And you will change nothing. You will just change the way you present during the interview. You will just bring out your strengths more, those strengths more, which resonate with the culture of the company. This is the preparation that is required. That's it. This is the preparation that is required when you're talking about knowledge. क्या क्या पता होना चाहिए? What all things you should know. Have I made sense till now? Please type make sense in the chat box. If I have made sense till now, please type makes sense in the chat box. Perfect. Thank you so much. Let's move now to presentation based. अब जो बता रहा हूं मैं बहुत ट्रिकी है, थोड़ा समझना. पहले तो आप मुझे बता दो, what is more likely for you guys, physical interviews or virtual interviews? Physical or virtual? Just type in the chat box. What is more likely? More interviews will happen physically or virtually? ये तो कॉम्प्लेक्स इलेक्शंस भी नहीं होते भाई, तो ठीक है, दोनों ही आंसर्स आ रहे हैं, फिजिकल और वर्चुअल भी. सो आई अज्यूम, आई मीन यू प्रिपेयर फॉर फिजिकल. इफ यू प्रिपेयर्ड फॉर फिजिकल देन यू कैन क्रैक वर्चुअल लाइक इजीली. नाउ प्रेजेंटेशन बेस्ड में one thing that you must understand is how are you appearing. Appearing में of course clothing आती है, body language आता है, second third. I'll not repeat this. It's a waste of time. आपकी प्लेसमेंट कमेटी ने 50 बार बता दिया होगा ड्रेस कोड क्या है, कैसे बाल कटाने हैं, क्या पहनना है, फॉर्मल ड्रेस कोड for guys, formal dress code for girls. I believe whatever is the dressing sense, grooming matters. If you are well groomed, if you are pleasing to look at, I'm not talking about how you look, how well you are groomed. It's a factor. चाहे उसमें कितने भी डिबेट हो जाए, if you are well groomed at least, you come out sincere. You come out that okay, this is a guy, this is a girl who is valuing this opportunity. Which means your shoes, your hairs, what you're wearing, the cleanliness, right? The freshness on your face, this all matters. Because secret number two, interviewers are people, human beings. They want to be around presentable people. All of us, it's human nature. We want to be around presentable people, pleasing personalities. Everybody wants to be around them, right? So focus there. Usko don't undermine that thing. Okay. Second is body language. I'll come to personality later. So second part was grooming. Third is body language. Body language, focus on three things. Very important. Leave everything aside. Three things. Your posture. Do not lean too much forward like this. It shows that you're nervous, anxious. Do not lean too much backwards like this. It shows that you're not considering this is important. You're disinterested. Sit up tight, right? This shows confidence. This shows sincerity. This also shows that of course, everybody is nervous during interviews, but you're managing it well. You're here for an interaction. You come here not for an exam, for an interaction. That is posture. Eye contact, very few people crack this somehow. I don't know why. When you're talking to some person, you look at them into the eye. They are people, humans. I mean, they might have the authority to select you today, but they don't have an authority over your life. So unless you are stuck in a criminal case where you are facing the judge, you should look everybody you talk to in the eye, right? So look at them into the eye. It shows that you are honest, number one, again confident, and whatever you are saying, it's coming from inside. You have not made it up. So look at them in the eye. अगर nervousness आती है eye contact में, target the forehead. Look at the forehead. कई बार होता है when we are recollecting, they are thinking. So we are not able to focus on the eye, focus on the forehead. Non-verbal expressions, best part is your hand movements. It's again a secret with the interviewers. People who move their hands in the direction of their talk, in the direction of their speech, are considered to be more logical, more thought-driven. Who speaks with their hands folded or their hands straight? People who memorize something and come out and speak. Most of the time, their hands would be either at their back or straight down. Mostly class 2-3 kids, when they're asked to speak, say an essay on India or maybe a poem on life, they'll memorize it, they'll come to the classroom, they'll fold their hands back, and they just repeat because they're focusing too hard on their mind to recollect what they memorized. You're not doing that. You are explaining your thoughts. You're coming out with some insights that you have just thought about. So your hands should naturally move. This is about grooming and body language. I don't think there is much preparation required here. If you focus on the dressing sense and grooming and the first part, that is appearance. So appearance is around your personality. Everything around your presentability will be taken care if you focus on these two words. Very, very important. Number one is confidence. Number two is curiosity. Simple rule. When you are in the interview, you are well prepared. You're also not that nervous and you're enjoying the process. You're gone there to interact and enjoy the process. You should be confident about what you know and you should be curious about what you don't know. There is no third situation possible. There is no third possibility. Either you will know certain things or you don't know certain things. So of course वो पूछ ले कि भाई introduce yourself. So you don't know वाला part तो नहीं. You cannot answer that curiosity के साथ. You should answer that confidently. Anything about yourself, your future plans, anything about your something that you've studied, past way, with the subjects. If you do not know something, they ask something you don't know, immediately shift to curiosity, which means that you will ask counter questions maybe. They ask something, let's say about an industry, you can be curious. Okay, do you mean this? Do you want me to answer this? That will immediately break that stress wala loop or nervousness wala loop. Because they will ask things that you don't know. And immediately our mind, the human mind is conditioned to be anxious when something is asked and you are being evaluated. It will go nervous, it will go stressed. No, you become curious. Okay, do you mean this? Okay, is it okay if I answer around this? Because there will be something around that topic that you know. You keep rechecking with them. Be curious. And let's say you do not know the answer at all. Sorry, I don't know the answer, but this is a really interesting topic. Is it okay if I understand it more and come back to you? What's the problem with that? You're accepting that you don't know, but you're showing curiosity. You want to learn new things. These two things will take care of your personality. How you come up as a person. Are you with me till now? Please type with you in the chat box if you're with me till now. Perfect. Having said that, all these things, let's say if these basics are sorted, if you have focused on your self-awareness, you've learned about yourself, you have researched about the company, you have researched about the role, you have also taken care of your confidence and curiosity part. When we are actually evaluating candidates, this is what happens with the interviewer's mind. What all they think is went good in the interview. Number one, driving the interview your own way. अब ये कैसे होता है? First question, 99% of the time, is introduce yourself or tell me something about yourself. Now, how you direct your answer in that question will decide the flow of the interview. Of course, you will tell them, I am this, I am XYZ, I am studying these subjects in this college. If you need to know, tell the name of your college. If not, then just tell your subjects. And then whatever you say, basic information ke baad, your name, your college and subjects, and beyond that what you're saying is what matters the most, because that will decide the direction of the interview. Are you telling about your future plans, any particular skill sets, some projects that you have done? I am Satyam Khandilwal. I am doing my BA Honours from Hindu College, XYZ. In my first year, I did XYZ project where I was required to do these things, and I learned these skill sets. In my second year, I did these projects where I was working on these tools, and I learned these skill sets. I am a digital marketing enthusiast, and I want to create a career around these things. Now you have given them enough material to cross question, but the advantage here is these cross questions will be on the topic that you know about, because you did those projects, you did work on those tools. You do want to become a digital marketing enthusiast, for example. And now many people will leave this question. Open-ended facts. I am Satyam Khandilwal. I am studying at Hindu College. I will complete my graduation by 2021, and I want to join a great company, the challenging job, which can give me great ways to improve myself and grow my career. Wow. Now everything is in their code. They will drive the interview. So drive the interview your own way. So the moment you get an opportunity to speak about what you are, what you want, what you have done. Speak about things that you want them to question. That will change the direction of the interview into your favor. That is the first thing, right? Point number two, learning to say no. We did touch on this point in the last slide. If you don't know the answer, oh sir, I don't know the answer. Sorry, sir, I don't. Why sorry, man? You're not supposed to know everything in this world. Curiosity. Okay, this one, is it okay if I touch upon these topics? Do you mean, are you looking for an answer to this question? No? Okay. As of now, I'm not able to recollect, but is it okay if I research on this topic and come back? Or we can revisit this question later? This is the way to say no. Curiosity. And okay, you don't know, but you're very curious to learn. Third point, which we evaluate as interviewers a lot of times, is result orientation. What is result orientation? Now listen carefully. Okay? This slide is a very high, possibly the highest value slide in the session. So driving the interview your own way, learning to say no, result orientation. There are two kinds of mindsets when it comes to corporate employment. One mindset is activity oriented, second mindset is result oriented. Whenever you do something or talk about something, your mind either go activity oriented, that means, hear me out. Example number one, I worked for ABC company where I was doing social media management for them from April 2023 to June 2023. Way to speak about a project. Second way, example number two, I worked for ABC Limited where I handled social media channels for them and I ran FBAs of XYZ amount, which resulted in increasing their traction or engagement or followers base from A to B, which was a growth of 10%, 20%, 30%. This is result orientation. You're talking about the outcomes of what you did, which could not necessarily be numbers. You are the numbers, for example, but maybe you came up with an analysis. Maybe you came up with a recommendation. Maybe you learned something through your project and you recommended your organization or whoever was, for whomsoever you were doing that project. Talk about results, talk about outcomes. In corporates, those people are more in demand who talk about results, talk about outcomes, and that comes through mindset. You start thinking in the form of results, in the form of outcome, then you will speak in the form of outcomes. Perfect? With you? With you, not with you. Perfect. Thank you so much. Now, the right way to answer most common questions. This generally used to be a separate part, but while I was talking to you through slides, I tried to touch upon each important question, whether it is introduce yourself, some strengths, describe yourself in 3 words, 2 words, whatever it is. I'll give you a place where you can find answers to sample answers to all these kind of questions. But before that, I can give you a way to categorize all the questions. So there are 5 kinds of categories of interview questions. Generally, इस category के बाहर और कोई question हो नहीं सकता. One is self-based, which is self-awareness based about you, about yourself, your future plans, interests, strengths, skill sets, what do you want to become, why have you come to this interview, why do you want to join this. Whatever is about you is either about your future aspirations, your skill sets, your interests, or your strength areas. Right? Role based. Why do you want to join this ship? Do you think you would be able to do justification to this role? Now, even this you can answer if you know about yourself and you have read what? And you have read what? Which document? Yes, the JD. Because if you have read the JD, while reading it, you will prepare in your mind कि भैया अच्छा ये चीज तो मैं कर सकता हूँ या कर सकती हूँ, right? Because the skill set that is required, I have them. So whenever they ask this question, do you think you would be able to do this job? Yes. Why? Because I'm confident. No. Because I think I can do it. No. Because I have the zeal, I have the drive. No. Because I have worked on the tools during my project while working with XYZ, which is also a requirement in your role. Because I have already learned those skill sets when I was doing these things during my college project or short-term project, which are also required in your role. Because I know these skill sets, I know these tools, I have these skill sets. This is the way to answer role-based question. Right? Knowledge-based question, it's either a yes or a no. Do you know about this? The answer to knowledge-based question is curiosity. That's it. If you know the answer, be confident, answer it. If you don't know the answer, be curious. Ask them, can you touch this aspect? Can you touch that aspect? If no, ask for some time or permission to come back later. Situation-based questions. Okay, Satyam, can you tell me if we ask you to count all the cars in your city? Can you give us a number? Let's say it's an automobile company. How many cars are there in your city? Situation-based. If we leave you and there is a conflict of interest between your manager and your super manager, who will you support? Let's say there is your manager and then there is someone else, some other team's manager, but you know some other team's manager is right, your manager is wrong. Who would you support? Situation-based questions. In most of the situation-based questions, they create an artificial situation to check two things. One, when you are thrown into new situations, uninformed, would you get stressed or would you handle these situations calmly? This is one thing they'll check. So the first thing is don't get stressed. Immediately कोई random सा बकवास सा question है जो आपको पता है जिसका आंसर उसको भी नहीं पता. That means they are checking your thought process. How well you think under stress. How many cars are there in your city? Okay, sir. Let's say the population of my city is around 20 lakhs. And let's say around 25% of the families own cars. So around 5 lakh people would own cars. And let's say there is one car for 4 people. So I think there are around 1 lakh to 1,25,000 cars in my city. I don't know that answer is right, but neither the interviewer knows that answer is right or wrong. What is he checking? Do I have a thought process? Do I have a logical flow to face such kind of a situation? There is a conflict between my manager and the manager of some other team, and I know that he is right. What would I do? Who would I support? Why would I support anybody? It's not a court case. I'm not saying this in the interview. I'll tell him. I'll go and talk to the person who is some other team's manager. I'll talk to them. I'll explain him that you might not have been able to explain my manager this fact. That's why he thinks you're wrong. I'll try to establish a conversation between them, a dialogue between them. This is what I would do. Why would I take sides? It's not an election. Right? This is what they're checking. So whenever you face any such question, there you would understand they want you to be stressed, they want you to be nervous. That means they're asking situation-based questions. That means just your thought flow would matter, thought process. And then when you are asked to ask a question, I can tell you how many holidays, Saturday, Sunday, what are the working time, what is the dress code. This is a recipe of failure. Ask about the role, ask about new launches. Ask about what are the day-to-day responsibilities in this role. What does a team structure looks like? Who in this role? Who would I have to report to? Is the leader involved? These kind of questions. This is again I'm interested. So more or less, I think I have covered whatever I wanted to cover for this session. The entire value that I wanted to extend to you all. A simple slide on video interviews because I don't know why, but when I was taking interviews, this happened. A lot of people undermine these factors. When they are appearing for virtual interviews, they don't check their network connections, they don't set their background right, and they sometimes appear from the mobile, which creates a hell lot of difference in the impression. Hell lot of difference. Now, when I can see a perfect background, behind you, hazed and placed 2.0, it looks professional. The impression is different, right? So set up a proper background behind you, whatever it is, whatever your condition of, set it up. Appear through your laptop. There's a difference. You would understand when you appear from your mobile and your laptop. There's a difference. The impression is different, right? Try and recheck your network connections. कि भाई video on off हो रहा है, आ रहा है नहीं आ रहा है. Try to be the best possible network. Just take care of these things when you're appearing for virtual interviews. This is just technicalities, not much to prepare. Okay, how was it? Can I have one word for the session on the chat box? How was it? One word from you guys for the session. How was the session? One word from all of you, please. Okay, thank you so much. Over to you, Bhavya, Sejal. I think I've exhausted the time limit as well. So,
No, sir, that is completely fine. It is really insightful as you can see from the responses in the chat box as well. I think we can take up questions if anyone
Sure.
has any. So you all can drop your questions in the chat box, and so we'll answer them for you. Can we have questions now? There was one question on our YouTube live which we were streaming that what are your recommendations for candidates who struggle with nerves or anxiety during interviews?
sure, sure. So, though we have covered this in the session as well, but I'll repeat for the sake of the benefit of the person who's asked this question and you all. Nervousness, anxiety come from multiple reasons. Human mind's conditioning is such, whenever we think somebody is evaluating us, there is some basic nervousness that comes in. Then when somebody is evaluating us and he asks something which we don't know, the answer to which we are not aware about, anxiety also kicks in. So first you need to understand that it's an interview which is meant for them to select you. The secret to interviewers' mindset. They are here to select you, not to reject you. Second, you're not supposed to know everything. Nobody is supposed to know everything, right? It's an interaction where they would have some questions. You can also have some cross questions. Later, when they evaluate you in the process, you can ask them questions. Anything that you think is specifically asked for creating anxiety, that means they are checking your thought process. The more you go to this process with the mindset of interacting, learning more, networking, at the start of the session, I said it's a networking opportunity. That is also a networking opportunity. They might not select you, but if they find you interesting, you can be in connect with them, right? For the future. They might refer you to another great job, or later they can opt you for another role in the same company. This has happened a lot. The more you consider this as a networking opportunity, an interaction opportunity, the nervousness and anxiety will go. Some healthy nervousness should be there because it drives you to perform better, which is okay, but not anything beyond that.
I think that's really helpful and answers the question. We have a lot of questions in the chat box. I'll read it out for you. So, can you tell us about some ways to grab off-campus opportunities if you're not from a tier 1 or 2 college?
Sure. So, single word answer for this is LinkedIn. Create a LinkedIn profile, maintain a good LinkedIn profile, optimize your profile, write about your projects, write about your skill sets there. If you want some help, you can just send me a connect request on LinkedIn. You can check my profile. There are a lot of students who are connected to me who have developed their profile and cracked off-campus jobs. Today, LinkedIn is the tool for anything off-campus that you want to crack. Right.
Thank you, sir. We have another question as well. How to answer the question of why should we hire you out of 100 plus candidates? And why should we not select you? Is it pointing out our strengths and weaknesses? We can.
Right. Sure. So number one is why should we hire you? Why should we hire you? That means generally people will think they're asking about why I am good. So I'll start speaking about I am a good public speaker, I am a good presenter, I've done this, I've done that, I have those skill sets. But I don't think that's the best way to answer. The best way to answer here is to recollect the JD. They are hiring someone because they have certain problems. And you matchmake that. You matchmake your skills and strengths with the JD, with the problems listed in the JD. So, as I read in the JD, the answer is, as I read in the JD, you are looking for a person who is more of a team player and who also understands Excel and advanced Excel tools. In a project that I did in my last year of college, I got an opportunity to work for advanced Excel tools and I did these things for XYZ company. I also worked with 10 other members and coordinated for the output of this project. That is why I'm more confident that I'll be the best suitable profile for this. This is the answer. So I'm not touching on my 10 strengths that I can. I'm touching on those 1, 2, 3 strengths which are the ask of the JD. Right? So why should we hire you? Should be answered this way. The second question, why should we not select you? Tricky question, good one. Now they're asking for a weakness, and you have to tell them your weakness. They could have asked, "Do you have any weakness? Can you tell one of us your weakness?" ये भी क्वेश्चन पूछने का तरीका, but they're asking, why should we not select you? Generally, तो आएगा भाई, you have called me for an interview. Why are you asking for reason to not select? No, you'll have to give them a weakness which would not directly impact the JD. For example, let's say there is a JD where you are required to individually contribute, right? Because most of the freshers will be individual contributors. Right? You should not hire me if you're looking for someone who used to delegate, who is good in delegating opportunities to other team members. Because I've always worked as an individual contributor in my projects, and I also want to work as an individual contributor, as a consultant, as a business analyst, where I want to take end-to-end responsibility of the project. That is where my strengths are maximum. Because you know JD wants that. But you will see if you're looking for someone who delegates and can only work in teams, then I might not be the right fit for this. Because I'm a person who is more of an individual. You understand how I'm repositioning? Again, I'm giving them a reason to select me by giving them a weakness which is not the ask of the JD. Perfect?
Yes, so I think we really are now starting to understand the significance of reading the JD before an interview. So thank you so much. We have another question from Sneha. She wants to ask, what are the latest trends in interview processes? How has it changed over the years?
Yeah, I mean, over the years, what I have observed is, over the years, I am also pretty young in the interview processes. I'm only facing them or taking interviews for the last 10 years now. But during the process, I mean, a few things have changed. Number one, it has become more informal now. Less of formal interaction, more of informal interaction. They want you to speak informally. Informally का मतलब ये नहीं है कि आप कैसे भी चले जाओगे या कैसे भी बात करोगे. Informally, they want you to be chill. They want you to relax and then talk, more in the interaction format and not कि भाई कोई बड़ा कोई आपके सामने बैठा है. Because more you are open, they will know more about you. So that is one thing. Second is, a lot of times I have seen that the interviewers already go through your social media handles. So it could be a win or lose game, because if you're present on social media, that's a good thing. But if by looking at your Insta, Facebook profile, if they get an idea of you being an extremist, you're taking too many extreme sides, sometimes, or you are being too funky or too should I say, like taking life too lightly. Some of the social media handles will give you that impression. They tend to generally eliminate those profiles. And more of a formal touch, a professional touch, where even if your normal pictures are there, but it looks like you are purpose driven. You're talking about good things, you're talking about your career, your future. It creates a good impression. So this is one good trend that I have noticed, which you can take advantage of. That's why a good LinkedIn profile, possibly a little formal Instagram profile, where you also talk about your work apart from your daily life is good. Good to have.
So we have another question by Divesh. He is asking, is it okay to ask them something one is curious about their company?
Yes, but only when they ask you to ask a question. I mean, at the end of when they are done with the interaction. Either it is asked, do you have any question for us? Or they will say, okay, I mean, we are done here. Then you can ask for permission to ask a question. And definitely you can ask. I mean, it's always you get a good point, you get a positive point for asking relevant questions. Only relevant questions. Not like what does your company do, what are the products of your company. Don't ask this, you are supposed to know this.
So the next question is, if you are cross questioning, won't it create a negative impact?
So you're not supposed to cross question on questions like tell us something about yourself or where do you see yourself 5 years. I mean, cross questioning would be somebody asking you, interviewer asking you, where do you see yourself 5 years from now? And you are saying, where do you see your 5 years from now? You're not supposed to do that. But if they're asking you a question which is fact based, you're asking more about that question, being more curious about that question. That's it.
Understood. Yes, sir. So we'll take up just one last question since we are also short on time. So we have a question from Tanzil. He says, they belong to core pharma field. So the question is, why you want to join this consulting firm despite you belonging to a core pharma field?
Yeah. So why do you want to join this consulting firm despite it? Doesn't matter. I mean, so you have worked in consulting is a field where any background people can go, right? So you have to just show that you were exploring in the past. Give them examples that you were exploring. You ended up into the pharma industry. You worked in the pharma industry, but you got exposed to consulting field when you got in touch with these people, or when you started doing this project. And then you identified that your interest was in the consulting field. You did a couple of projects, and then you realize your interest lies here. And that's how you want to grow your career in consulting field. People move from fields here and there. Engineers go for MBA, MBBS people going for consulting, anybody going for anything. I don't think it's a big question there, but the flow should be logical. It should not be like, sir, pharma में पैसा नहीं मिलता है, consulting में पैसा मिलता है. Not like this. You should show them a logical path. That's it.
Okay, great. I think we're done with the questions.
Perfect. Even if you have any other questions, I have shared possibly a reel of Instagram on the chat box, which you can go through. That you go to the account. So Career Growth with Satyam is my account where I have tried to decode all the interview questions through role plays. So you might want to check those. It's all videos of real answers, real sample answers. Maybe it would work out for you if you have missed asking any question or if I have missed answering, you would find that there on the Instagram account.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much. On behalf of Hindu Consulting Group, we would like to express our heartfelt gratitude to Mr. Satyam Khandelwal for delivering an incredibly insightful session. Please accept this small token of appreciation from our side. We truly appreciate your time and commitment for being here with us today and providing us with an exceptional interview guidance.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for inviting, and I hope the session was useful. Will come, you will end up being useful when your interviews are there. And all the best for your processes.
Yes, so it was quite an engaging session, and the tips such as the 3 secrets to decode interviewers' mind, or understanding our own strengths, weaknesses, interest areas, and relevant learnings, and expertise that you shared with us today will help us ace our interviews and enhance our career process. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye.
Thank you so much.
Thank you everyone for joining us. We hope that the dedication, preparation, and skills you mastered in this session propel you towards success in your future interviews. So we shall meet again tomorrow for another insightful session on aptitude amplified, sharpening your analytical edge. Until then, keep learning and stay tuned. Thank you so much.